the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes, here back with another action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at none other than the Sentinel or SV Action Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Man Noir. And it seems like I said Spider-Man a whole lot just now. But anyway, this is one we have been waiting on for quite some time. I know a lot of people wanted this figure as soon as they started making these characters. And it's crazy to see that we're still years and years after the release of this movie and we're still getting characters from it. But anyway, let's stop wasting time and go ahead and get right to it, starting off with the sexy packaging. Now for the box, I figured I would compare it to two different ones so you guys can see a bit of the size difference. It is the same size as most of the previous Sentinel figures we've gotten, which is just a tad bit bigger than an actual Mafex box. But anyway, on the packaging, as you can see, everything is pretty much in black and white, as it is supposed to be. That's pretty much the theme of this particular Spider-Man. Now, I don't know much about him. I need to do my research, but there isn't any color. As you can see, there's a complete absence of it in this package, other than the actual logo and then the Marvel logo right there. But anyway, we got some pictures of him on the front. This cool building on the back, it says Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. SV Action Spider-Man Noir Marvel right there at the bottom. On the side, we've got some images right here. On this side, we've got some more images, all full body. At the top, it just says Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, bunch of legal stuff at the bottom. And then on the back, we got this really dope image of him swinging in. Again, everything other than the actual logos of the Spider-Man movie and the Marvel, all black and white. Now, anyway, let's go ahead and bust this figure out because I'm pretty excited to talk about this guy. Now, straight out of the packaging, the first thing that I want to say is that this figure is absolutely 100% very aesthetically pleasing. And I mean it when I say that. This figure is a beauty to look at. And when it comes to something like this, I feel like that is one of the biggest selling points, especially when you have an absence of color, because this guy is basically 99% black. Other than the eyes, which are white, everything else is just all black. And when there's an absence of color like that, it can definitely make something lose its appeal. But when it comes to this guy here, I was completely sold the moment that I saw the promo images, because from the looks of it at the time and then now having it in front of me, all the details are absolutely there. Now, I have been wanting a figure of this version of Spider-Man Noir, but it was something about the Marvel Legends that just didn't work for me. I don't know what it was. Something just wasn't there that I needed, but this figure brings it all. Now, as you can see, as of right now, he is missing the lower part of his jacket, as well as a few other things that we'll discuss a bit later. I think it's because they made them separate pieces, which is also going to help out with the articulation, but we'll get into that in just a sec. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a closer look at this guy so we can examine some of the details. Now, again, when it comes to the look of this figure, I feel like Sentinel did everything exceptionally well, because there is absolutely no lack of detail in this figure at all. I love that they have sculpted wrinkles and extra amounts of detail every single place that they could have added it. As you can see on the hat here, the top of the hat, or actually the whole hat, is black except the little rim around it here is actually more of a grayish color, so it's not all painted the same color. There are some darker blacks, there are some grays in here, like the buttons that are painted on. I don't know, maybe it's just an allusion to the eye. I can't say for sure, but again, you got a ton of sculpted wrinkle and detail all along this figure, man. Front and back. I love this little jacket we have going on right here. It's gonna look so much better once I attach the rest of the pieces, but this just looks good, man. The sleeves have the button on them. He's got wrinkle sculpted in the back and the front of the pants, as he should. He's got his holster on the side looking good. The gloves look very, very clean. The figure feels sleek, but at the same time, very detailed, man. I love the proportions on this guy also. Like, this is one I could really brag on all day. There's just so much about it that looks good, man. All the way down to the feet. And honestly, the shoes are probably the most simple thing about this figure, which, I mean, it makes sense. He just wears a pair of almost black dress shoes. And this was probably the style of which the age that this Spider-Man comes from. So I completely get it. But yeah, all the way down, man, this figure just looks and feels very nice. It's very rare that I get a figure that feels as premium as this. Now, if I had to choose one thing I dislike, it's the right at the elbows, because this joint, as you can see, protrudes outward quite a bit. It gives it almost a Figma-esque look. I feel like they could have made that joint a little bit better, but honestly, the more I get to looking at the figure, I kind of just get lost in everything else that's going on with it. So it's not like that's something I'm just staring at, but it is very noticeable sometimes. But I'm sure once you get this guy posed up, it's not really going to be much of a problem. But anyway, let's go ahead and put him back so we can see how tall he stands. When it comes to the height on this guy, to the top of his head, as you can see, he is pushing 7 inches, actually, which he's not quite there. He's just a little bit above 6.5 to the top of his hat, but it makes sense. He is a very tall, lanky character in the movie, so I feel like this is completely accurate. Now, I don't have all of the Spider-Verse figures. Sorry to you guys who want to see certain size comparisons a bit later, but I am missing Miles and Gwen, so I'm going to be skipping out on those, but I will do as many other size comparisons as I can, because technically, based on this movie, you can put him alongside any and every Spider-Man there is you have in your collection. Moving on to the articulation, he looks up only about that much because the hat is going to touch the back of the collar. If you push it any more than that, the head is going to come off, but it does pop back on very, very easy, so that's good. He looks down not very much either. I don't know if I put that all the way back on. Let's see. I didn't hear a pop. And I'm leaving all this in the video just for you guys to see. Okay, so it doesn't pop, but you do kind of feel it click. But yeah, that's about as much as you can get him looking down. I do wish he looked a little bit further, but that turtleneck piece right there is probably what's preventing it. He does get really good tilt and turn and all kinds of motion, so that's really good. Now, the arms are what I'm worried about. Let's see. They actually go out much further than I thought. They're utilizing the same joints that they use with characters like Miles and Peter B, where they have this gap of a piece in here. And since all of this is black, you very rarely notice it with this figure. So that's good. But yeah, the arms go out about that much. Not all the way up. Obviously, you're going to have to rotate them upward if you want to get him in some of those poses where his arms go outward, but they don't really go out this way, so that kind of sucks. But with this design, it's to be expected. You can get him to punch back like that, but I mean, obviously the human body doesn't really move like that when you're in combat. But yeah, so you're not really going to get him in those punching upward type poses, so that also might prevent you from getting some of those web swinging poses. Anyway, he doesn't have a bicep swivel right here, but he does get the rotation at the shoulder. Now again, that is going to limit some of the posability, not a whole lot, because it's still going to come from the shoulder where most of the restrictions are. Now anyway, the elbows, despite them looking not the best, they do bend all the way in, so you can get him with his hands behind his head, no problem. So if you want a relaxing Spider-Man Noir, you can totally do that. Now, the hands are on a very long hinge, which is cool, and this is a very sturdy piece, by the way. You can move them up, down, left, and right, however you want. Now, there are going to be some restrictions because of the sleeve, and that's just to be expected. Now, at the diaphragm, leans back very well. It would definitely go further if it wasn't for the trench coat, but that's just to be expected. And it does get a little bit of gapping in there when you lean it back too far, but you can kind of pull it down and tuck it to where it's not as noticeable. Again, all of the black is what's going to hide a whole lot of that, especially if you're taking pictures of it. Now, he does move around very, very well at the diaphragm, also at the waist. Almost no restrictions whatsoever. He leans forward about that much, actually even further if you're utilizing both of those joints, so that is really, really good. Now he kicks forward about that much. He doesn't really kick back because of this butt flap. Now the legs do I just realized how this looks right here. They got like a little joint right there. See, again, black detracting because I'm just now noticing that. But anyway, he does kick all the way out and the holster does pop off. That didn't break. It is a peg that can peg on there. But yeah, he can do the splits just fine. He does have a thigh swivel, double jointed knees that work exceptionally well. Would have been cool if he had a swivel right here, but he does not. The foot goes down about that much, up about that much. Very generous ankle rocker, and then he does have a toe hinge. So articulation wise, for the most part, you can get him to do whatever you want. The only limits are going to come from the shoulders. Now, when it comes to accessories for this guy, you don't get a whole lot, but you definitely get enough. Now, first things first, he comes straight out of the packaging with a neutral head sculpt and a pair of fist hands. He then comes with a unmasked head or an hatted head right here. And I just realized that there's actually some shading, kinda, in the spider lenses here. As you can see, I don't know how well it's picking up on camera. It might look all white, but there's actually some strips of gray here that I don't know, I hope you guys can see that, but if not, you'll just have to get the figure and you'll be able to see it then. And it's actually on both of these. I can't believe I didn't realize that. But anyway, yeah, he does come with that extra head. He comes with a pair of, drop the other, web holding hands, which I love. He comes with a pair of kind of like relaxed hands by the side-ish type hands. He comes with a pair of reaching, grabbish, stylish pose hands. I cannot talk today. He comes with a pair of wall crawling hands, and I don't remember if this Spider-Man wall crawls in the movie or not. For some reason, I cannot picture this Spider-Man wall crawling. Don't ask me why. He does come with one trigger hand for his laser beam blaster right here. I don't know, it looks very laser beam-ish. It doesn't look like a modern day pistol or older day pistol, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, he does come with a pair of whipping hands, and I love the fact that Sentinel actually gives you hands with the webs attached. I love that so much, man. I think this is something that every company that makes Spider-Man figures needs to start implementing. It's genius. Anyway, he does also come with a pair of hands for holding what I believe is a cigarette. I don't know, but it kind of just plugs in between the fingers like that. I don't know. I don't remember if this Spider-Man smokes or not. I feel like it would kind of be in line with his character. Maybe it's a match. I'm not sure, but you guys tell me in the comments because you guys know everything. So yeah. And then of course he comes with these two longer webs, which he is meant to be holding. That's what these hands right here were for. And you just plug them in there just like that and it's fine. And then last but not least, he comes with the jacket pieces. Actually, there's two more jacket pieces that I'm missing. And I want to keep this all recording. You guys hear me opening the package back here. Yeah, he comes with these other two jacket pieces that are basically for tying the trench coat. And then these are going to peg in this little spot right here. And I'm about to show you guys what he looks like with the rest of the jacket put on. But one last thing I wanted to mention, for that one person who wants to know, the hat does come off of him. So if you want to pose him holding the hat, you can. But as you can see, it's not meant to be off of this particular head, which is exactly why they gave you this other one in case you want to pose him without the hat. So yeah, for that one person that wants to know, the hat does come off and it pegs back on very nicely. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, tons and tons of accessories. And of course, he does also include a stand. Moving on to size comparisons, here he is standing next to three of my favorite Spider-Man figures. We have him standing next to the Marvel Legends Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, the Sentinel SV Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Peter B. Parker, who wouldn't stand for nothing, and that's why I kind of have him looking goofy posed up here. And then we also have him standing next to the Mezco Spider-Man, and this is the classic comic outfit, which a lot of people are hating on, but once you get this guy posed up, he's a very fun figure. Here he is standing next to a couple of Mafex Spider-Man figures. We have him standing next to the Mafex Classic Spider-Man, the Mafex Ben Reilly Spider-Man or Scarlet Spider, and then we have him standing next to the Mafex Symbiote or Black Suit Spider-Man. Here he is standing next to the SH Figure Arts Spider-Man No Way Home trio. On the far left, we have him standing next to the Tom Holland Spider-Man. In the middle, we have Andrew Garfield. And then on the far right, we have Tobey Maguire. Again, this Spider-Man could go in the Spider-Verse with literally any Spider-Man because of the fact that we've seen how this universe is built. Last but not least, for some villains, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Green Goblin from the Mary Jane and Green Goblin 2-pack. I'm standing next to a Marvel Legends Retro Shocker and then a Marvel Legends Retro Hammerhead. Now, when it comes to this Spider-Man figure, I'll be honest, you guys, he can really pose and get down, as you guys see right now. That's exactly why I have him in the pose that he's in, just so you guys know you can really get those squatting Spider-Man poses if you want to. And for the most part, this figure could have been perfect, but there are some small things that detract from it. And when I say small, I mean like tiny. And the first of those being is the gun and the holster. I don't know what it is, but it feels like this gun was not molded properly to fit in the holster. The holster just feels like it's way too small. I don't know, man. That's about as far in as I can get it, and hopefully you guys can even see that because, again, all black. Maybe I'm gonna pop it off. Let's see. There, it feels like it should go in much further, but this is not a good fit at all, and it's obviously because of the end of the gun, which is a little bit bigger, this piece right here. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that. It just feels like the holster wasn't molded correctly because I'm sure the gun is probably an accurate sculpt. And then the only other thing is the pieces for the back of the trench coat, the lower pieces, the floating pieces, they're actually a harder plastic than they should be, meaning that it's going to limit the poses you can get him into for when they're supposed to be blowing. It's going to make it difficult to get him to stand. I feel like they could have molded those in a very soft plastic and it would have been fine, especially for the price point of this guy because he is pretty expensive. I think this figure retails for about $100. If they had done that, those two things, this would have been a perfect figure. Like, honestly, there's nothing to complain about. There's really almost nothing to complain about anyway. But, yeah, those two things would have made this guy perfect. And, man, it's not like it makes the figure bad or anything like that. It just kind of detracts from it a little bit. But at the end of the day, I completely love this thing, man. Love this thing. I just hate not being able to get it into certain poses because, as you can see, they're just kind of sitting there now and it's hard to get him to stand. You got to really get him to lean forward and balance, which makes sense. That's what you're supposed to do with your action figures, but sometimes certain poses you can get them in that in your mind, okay, this is the perfect pose, you're just not going to be able to stand him like that. You're going to have to lean him forward a bit more or adjust the legs a bit. Otherwise, he's going to fall either forward or backwards. So, yeah, just be wary of that. But overall, just like the rest of these, man, totally worth getting your hands on. As you can see, I can't get him to stand like right now. I'm showing you guys exactly what I mean. Yeah, he's not wanting to stand up. And it's just because of how heavy the back pieces are. It's just, that kind of sucks, man. I really wish they had gone with a softer plastic for these lower pieces of the trench coat. That's the only thing that holds this guy up. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this review. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up because that always helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that. God damn, I've been messing with this the whole time. There we go. I forgot where I was at. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. And last but not least, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep all my activity outside of YouTube. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe wherever you are. And oh yeah, for the people that are like, why would you think it's a cigarette? That hand is for actually holding his hat. Where's the hand? The hand that's holding this right here. Some people are going to say in the comments, that's not a cigarette or it's not meant for holding that. Look, right there on the packaging. Yeah, right there. So you can't say I was wrong. But anyway, tell me in the comments if this is a cigarette or not. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.